at the same time, it's for all departed Vaishnavas. So many wonderful Vaishnavas have departed. And there's this great separation that even we haven't met them, and we feel it when we sing this song. We feel separation. Wow, we missed them. Didn't get to see the person is not here or something. We feel it. And I was thinking, since this is Christmas Day, and last night my family texted me pictures of them trying to enjoy and feel good about being family and everything. And so I would be including. I was thinking I spent 6 years having their Christmases, and I so much appreciate all the devotees, because in the spiritual world, you love everybody because you love everybody in relation to Krishna. And that's actually what happens here in this society. You can tell when sometimes you can't tell because we're used to it in a way, and we're maybe not always advanced enough, and sometimes the austerity of relating spiritually rather than by comfy material ways like family or something is sometimes we don't understand, and sometimes we're a little harsh with each other. But actually, there's love for each other in relation to Krishna, because everybody here, we know everybody here is here because they have attraction to Krishna, because they know Krishna is God and they want to surrender. Everybody here. And so we have that in common. So because we have some beginning of love for Krishna, we have some love for each other. And that's much more real than love based on the bodily relationships. So I just wanted to express that. So I'm reading from the Vaishnava calendar that has this nice collection. It has this huge, long, it looks like a book. The little dot line goes down the side marking your place, and it's really more than a dot, so it's really big, page. But I have a starting point here. This is apparently all of Prabhupada speaking in different occasions. It looks like a collection. Anyways, okay, under the heading, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was known as Simha, Lion Guru, due to his fearless and ferocious preaching. If an impersonalist saw him on the street, the impersonalist would cross the road in fear or turn off onto another street. Those who didn't, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta would go up to and shake them violently, his huge body towering over them, and say, "Why do you say the Lord has no form? Nonsense, offender." We have already mentioned his birth and some of his early pastimes in connection with his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and his guru, Srila Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He appeared, this is so huge. This is his birthday. This is his disappearance, and I didn't really find much about his disappearance here compared to, but I didn't really have a chance to sit down and read the whole thing, which is like a book. Maybe I'll just look for more grown up. Okay, I'll just start here. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was 7 years old, his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, moved to Calcutta to the Bhakti Bhavan house, was built in grammar. While digging foundation, this is not my English-speaking person, while digging foundation, they found deity of Lord Kurmanet, first language, they obviously speak English, but they're missing some points which is making me stumble. While digging foundation, they found deity of Lord Kurma. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him his first initiation and the name Siddhanta Saraswati, and initiated his son into the worship of Lord Kurma. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave his son first initiation. It's interesting. He was doing this every single day without missing, even when he was admitted into school. This was starting at age 7. He was a very expert student. However, his preference was to study the Vaishnava books of his father. He did just that and studied books of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but never fell behind in school. He remembered everything after hearing it once. His teachers were astonished, and his father was very pleased. As a boy, Bimala Prasad delivered his oldest brother, Achyutananda, from an offense he'd made in his last life. Achyutananda had a nervous disease and once became very sick. Bimala Prasad took kartals and chanted the Hare Krishna mantra constantly for 6 days without eating. Then Ramanuja Sampradaya tilak appeared on Achyutananda's forehead. He said, I am a Ramanuja Vaishnava. I committed an offense to a Gaudiya Vaishnava in my last life and therefore had to take this birth. Now I am relieved. Then he left his body for dead. In 1892, after passing his entrance examination, Bimala was admitted into the Sanskrit College of Calcutta. There he spent considerable time in the library studying various books on philosophy. He also studied the Vedas under the guidance of Prithvidhar Sharma. As a student, he contributed many thoughtful articles to various religious journals. However, he did not continue with his college studies for long. We told this story before, this must be Prabhupada speaking. We told this story before, but from another angle. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had taken initiation from Bipin Bihari Goswami, who came in the line of Gadadhar Pandit through Janavi Devi. However, once when Bipin Bihari Goswami was visiting Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the Thakur paid obeisances and Bipin Bihari Goswami placed his foot on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's head. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta saw this and was surprised. He thought this was a dangerous thing for Bipin Bihari Goswami to do. When Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur left the room, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked him a question. You are my father's guru, but do you know who he is? Bipin Bihari Goswami was taken aback at this 7-year-old's question. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati continued, my father is a Nitya Siddha, an eternal associate of the Supreme Lord. Do you have sufficient spiritual potency to place your foot on his head? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur returned at this time, so the conversation was interrupted. Bipin Bihari Goswami said, your son is bold to the point of being rude. Later on, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur found this out and used to tell this story to his disciples. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Krishna Lila is Kamala Manjari, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is his eternal assistant, Nayana Manjari. At age 13, he started higher education. Once Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur returned from Puri with Tulsi and initiated his son into chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he also took his Nrsimha Mantra initiation. Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, etc. During this time, he invented and developed a shorthand script called Vikanta. So much was his genius. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after seeing the wonderful vision of a golden mandira, began begging door to door for funds to establish the yoga pit. At 18, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati entered Capital Sanskrit College, affiliated with Calcutta University. Within a short time, he mastered the 6 limbs of Sanskrit studies: Shiksha, Jyotish, Chandra, Alankara, etc. When Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was 22, he left college to avoid taking householder life. He took up work under the king of Tripura. Tripura had been turned into a Vaishnava state by the king of Manipur, who was a disciple of Narottam Das Thakur. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati became Raj Pandit there for 3 years. This stuff I never knew before. He retired with full pension, which Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati accepted for a few years and then voluntarily stopped. Around this time, he took initiation from Gorakishore Das Babaji. Srila Gorakishore Das Babaji had been a grain merchant before taking Babaji. He'd gone to Vrindavan and did bhajan for a long time. Then he came to Navadvip. By this time, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had retired and had built a bhajan kutir in Navadvip, Godruna. He gave Srimad Bhagavatam class there every day. Srila Gorakishore Das Babaji used to come to these classes. Srila Bhaktivinoda told Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to accept Srila Gorakishore as initiating guru. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati approached Gorakishore and asked him, please give me your mercy. Gorakishore answered, mercy is not mine to give. It is the property of Lord Chaitanya himself. I'll ask him, and if he agrees, I can give you. Second time they met, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati inquired, did you ask him? No, I forgot. Third time, same thing happened. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, you worship that great cheat Krishna, who is cheating everyone, and so you are also cheating me. But if you continue in this way, I will simply give up my life. because my life is useless without receiving your mercy. Then Lord Kishore Das Babaji gave initiation to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati as Varshavana Devi Das. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gave up all other activities to chant 194 rounds daily for 7 years. He had a kutir, but did not spend the time to repair the roof. He just used an umbrella if it rained. Somewhere else in this column, it said that that's how many billion rounds? 1 billion rounds. This is how he chanted 1 billion rounds. Okay, so in 1897, he started an autonomous Chatuspati Sanskrit school, where from monthly journals entitled Jyotirvid, Vrihaspati, and many old treatises on astrology were published. In 1898, while teaching at Sarasvati Chatuspati, he studied Siddhanta Kaumudi under Vidhar Sharma at Bhaktisiddhanta. By the time he was 25, he had become well-versed in Sanskrit, mathematics, and astronomy, and he had established himself as the author and publisher of many magazine articles and one book, Surya Siddhanta, for which he received the epithet Siddhanta Saraswati in recognition of his erudition. In 1895, Saraswati Goswami accepted service under the Tripura royal government as an editor for the biography entitled Rajaratnakara, the life histories of the royal line of the independent Tripura kingdom. Later, he was entrusted with the responsibility of educating the Yuvaraj Bahadur and Rajkumar Rajendra Kishore in Bengali and Sanskrit. After a short period of time, this must be after he did his 1 billion rounds. After a short period of time, Siddhanta Saraswati took up the responsibilities for inspecting various ongoing activities in the royal palace for the state of Tripura. However, after finding enviousness, malice, and corruption surfacing in every corner of his inspection, Siddhanta Saraswati very quickly developed an aversion to state affairs and gave notice of his intention to retire to Maharaj Radhakishore Manikya Bahadur. This is a very long. This is a real hodgepodge because it's about to tell about how he got initiated again. So it's thrown together without a lot of editing from maybe different sources. Anyway, I guess I'll go where it was. Maharaj approved Siddhanta Saraswati's plans for renunciation and awarded him full pay pension. However, after 3 years, Siddhanta Saraswati also renounced his pension, which you already read about. I'm sorry, but I did not know this was going in circles like this. It's so long. With his father, he visited many tirthas and heard discourses from the learned pundits. On October 1898, Siddhanta Saraswati accompanied Bhaktivinoda on a pilgrimage of Kashi, Prayag, Gaya, and other holy places. At Kashi, a discussion was held with Ramamishra Shastri regarding the Ramanuja Sampradaya. After this talk, Siddhanta Saraswati's life seemed to take a turn, and his inclination toward renunciation increased, and he quietly continued to search for a sadguru. When Siddhanta Saraswati was 26, his father, understanding the mind of his son, guided him to take initiation from a renounced Vaishnava saint, Kishore Das Babaji, who we will now bring into the picture. Actually, it is impossible to separate these three, especially. Anyway, we will do our best to shed some light on their all effulgent forms, although it is like shining a candle to illumine the sun globe. One disciple of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who wanted to continue the mission, came looking for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Navadvip at this time, knowing him to be as powerful a personality as his father. He went around asking the locals if they knew of a sadhu matching Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's description, but they all answered, "We don't know of a sadhu, we only know of one madman. We see him moving here and there, crying aloud and sometimes rolling on the ground." So he went searching for him in the jungle next to the Ganga, where they said he sometimes could be seen. Suddenly he heard Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati crying, "Krishna, Krishna, Hari Bol, Nittai Gora, Hari Bol." He saw him burst out from the forest and plunged fully dressed into the Ganga. He kept on shouting in the water splashing about. Then he came out. The disciple of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur then approached him, requesting him to come to Calcutta to head up the Sankirtan mission there. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati answered, Sankirtan, can you not see the wonderful Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya right here in the holy Dham in Navadvip? Is it not wonderful? Sri Panchataka are chanting and dancing in ecstasy surrounded by all their associates. Can you not see this? Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati ran off again shouting Haribol in great ecstasy. As it was sunset by this time, that man took his bath in the Ganga and mentally renounced the idea of organizing the Sankirtan mission. But later on, in 1918, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati appeared at his door in Calcutta in sannyasi robes with a danda, freshly shaven, and ordered, now we are founding a society, the Sri Gaudiya Math. Draw up the papers immediately and have it registered. Though he'd arrived at 4 p.m., the work was done before that same afternoon was ended. Even before 1918, he decried the Jati Gosai Brahmana monopoly of giving initiation only to born Brahmins. He preached very boldly against them. The Brahmins challenged him. Where does the Gora mantra appear in any authorized scripture as a Gayatri? Because the Gaudiya Vaishnavas would take this mantra as a Pancharatriki mantra for Brahminical initiation. That's it on the one in the Gayatri mantra, I guess. They said, Sri Chaitanya claimed only to be a devotee. Why do you say he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and use his name in place of authorized scriptural names and mantras? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati cited Chaitanya-upanishad from the Atharva Veda, discovered by Srila Bhaktivinoda, 19 verses glorifying Lord Chaitanya. So it's a Upanishad, glorifying Lord Chaitanya. In another assembly, he directly attacked the Brahmins and Jati Gosais. He initiated the movement to take back the teachings of Lord Chaitanya from the hands of such unauthorized persons. Srila Vishwanatha, Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana, his disciple Uddhava Das Babaji, his disciple Madhusudana Das Babaji, were all saintly renounced souls. After Baladev, there was no one to strongly represent the pure teaching of Lord Chaitanya and preach them boldly. During Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, Gaudiya Vaishnava meant Baul, Aula, Shakti Beki, Jati Gosai, etc., who were all degraded. The Vaishnavas got no respect. At this time, the Shaktas became strong from Ramakrishna Vivekananda, and this put further obstructions for the establishment of pure Vaishnava Dharma. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati preached against all this nonsense. When Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj left the planet, the Babajis wanted to do the Samadhi rites. He'd said he wanted to have his body dragged through the streets by his, quote, disciples. The Babajis had gathered to do that. They tied a rope around his neck. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati crossed over to Navadvip from Mayapur and stopped them, saying, none of you are his disciples. Babaji Maharaj had one disciple. That one was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. In other records, it says he had only 2 disciples. The other was Vamsivata Das Babaji Maharaj, who was an Avadutta. Remember that before. I am the right claimant to perform these last rites. They said, but he was a Babaji and you are not. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati answered, Gorkishore Das Babaji does not come in Babaji line. He was initiated by Nimai Chand Goswami, who was a Nityananda Parivat, coming in the line of Lord Nityananda. He received his Vesha, Babaji dress, from Bhagavat Das Babaji Maharaj, who is an initiated disciple of Jagannath Das Babaji. Okay, to those who understand these things, this is a good argument, but I don't understand the traditions well enough. Before Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, from time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Param Bhakta Vaishnavas could get Vesha, white knee-length cloth, kopan, water pot, and bead bag initiation, not Tridandi sannyas.
Yeah, that's water pot, right?
Yeah, this is what?
Water pot.
Water pot. Did I not say water pot? Water pot and bead bag. Yeah. So in other words, the picture of the short knee-length cloth and the kopan, water pot, bead bag initiation, the Babaji picture, not Tridandi sannyas. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur also took Vesha from Jagannath Das Babaji. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, though Diksha initiated by Bipin Bihari Goswami, received Shiksha and Vesha from Jagannath Das Babaji. And Gorkishore Das Babaji received Shiksha from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's line is Bhagavat Parampara, not Seminole line. So he challenged them to show that any such line came from Rupa or Sanatana Goswami. Any such line. Let's leave it a little editing. I don't know what such line. As to be a Rupa Nuga means coming in Bhagavat Sampradaya. Oh, that's not supposed to be a separate sentence. Rupa told of Advaita's rejecting his own son Madhusudana because he accepted Lord Chaitanya only but not Lord Nityananda. If you are Babaji's, then you are fully sense-controlled. So the one of you who has not engaged in any illicit activities in the past 1 year, come and do the last rites. No one stood up. 1 month? 1 week? 24 hours? No one stood up. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati then placed Gaura Das Babaji and Maharaj's body in Samadhi. So after finishing with the smartest Jati Gosais, he took on Babas. He would take on and defeat anyone solely to establish pure, unalloyed, undeviated Krishna consciousness. What time is it? Is it almost 8:30 or is it about 8:30?
8:20.
21.
8:21.
Should I read a little bit longer, or I guess I can wait till 8:30. So then in 1918 he opened his first center in Ultadanga Road in Calcutta. He was then 44. Kunjavihari Vidyabhushana Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj was his main manager and a prominent devotee in the month. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had made a vow after taking sannyas that he would never touch money. Everything was arranged by his disciples. Many of them, wishing to assist his mission, took up responsible jobs. That is, Kunja Babu became a postmaster. We've had that in this movement, like best example, Jayananda, who was continuing his taxi driving and giving it all to the temple. So the skip to part, where did it skip? Is sannyas, which is a story in itself, and I think I can probably tell it all right. This is all out of order. His sannyas was, he took sannyas after his guru, let's see what happened. Gaura Das Babaji had departed and came to him in a dream and told him to take sannyas. Well, of course, that was like new, introducing sannyas, because even he couldn't have taken sannyas officially in the usual way from Gaura Das Babaji, because he didn't have sannyas, he had Babaji initiation. And that was the thing, as it pointed out in here. Nobody was taking sannyas. But he told him, Gaura Das Babaji told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati to take sannyas. And so he had already departed, and he told him in a dream. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati took sannyas himself from a picture. Now this is something that the Ritviks rely on, an example. They say, well, if he can do it, then it must be possible. Well, we're not to imitate. It's not ever been told that we can do that, and we are not. He was a pure devotee from birth. He was never covered by the modes like we are, so we don't do like that. We don't follow that example, but he did do that. He took sannyas from a picture of his guru, who didn't even have sannyas, and somehow he accepted the sannyas order and reestablished it. And I think sannyas is more made for traveling and preaching, and that's why it was appropriate. And then Prabhupada took sannyas, and then Prabhupada made sannyasis in this movement, even though many of them were too young and they couldn't keep it. Still, for preaching, he established the order in ISKCON, and some of them kept it. So, more 5 minutes. Maybe I should ask if anybody wants to, I could read a little bit more, but if anybody wants to add anything or make some comment, yes.
So, just a slight correction. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he chanted 1 billion names. So,
not rounds, names.
Not rounds, names. So, just if we put in our calculation, for the devotees who chant 16 rounds a day, it will take 99 years to do 1 billion names.
You think it's 99 years?
He did it in 9 or 10 years.
Because
he was doing 190 something rounds every day. So
it's amazing. And it said somewhere here that when they revisited, in their meandering kind of order of this kind of thing that's been put together without organization, that he did that in preparation for his mission. He knew what his mission was. So I read that here. That he took that vow to chant 1 billion rounds in preparation for his mission. He must have calculated how long it would be. You know, just how much she sent.
It said 7 years.
Yeah, by 192 rounds a day, or it must be rounds, not names, rounds a day.
194.
194? So, well, that's unimaginable to me. But I guess you might write fast too. So, and 300,000 a day. Haridas Thakura did 300,000 names a day, was it?
Yeah, names.
How many rounds was that?
3 lakhs.
Huh?
3 lakhs.
3 lakhs, yeah, but I don't know what lakhs are.
1,000, isn't it?
300,000 names, but how many rounds a day?
64 round is approximately 100,000. So 64 times 3.
So that's...
192. Is it?
64?
Yeah, 192.
Well, then that's the same exact... Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did the same thing that Haridas Thakura did, but he did it for 7 years. Sounds like it's the same numbers.
Yeah.
Oh. So, I guess it's just about 8:30. So maybe we'll stop here because it could go on a long way. Let's see, what is the... Yes. The little tiny dot on the side is only halfway down, and I started here, and I only read that much. If that gives you an idea of how, you know, if everybody's used to these phones and the little dots on the side that tell you your progress on the column.
See that.
So this is pretty vast. So
What are you reading from?
this is from the Vaishnav calendar, and it's where everybody reads from. And you know, you get this on the... Trying to get to the top.
ISKCON Desire Tree.
It's from ISKCON Desire Tree. Appearance Day Lectures by A.C. Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Prabhupada. Life and Disappearance article by H.H. Shivaram Swami. It lists 4 dates of Prabhupada's lectures. An article by Shivaram Swami, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami's Appearance Day Evening Notice. So it looks like a hodgepodge. It's not organized so you can tell what you're reading. That's why there's so much repetition. And there's no separation. I don't know who did this. There's no even separation. The dates of the different lectures are at the top, but they're not in the column. So you have no idea when one started, when stopped, or if that's what you're reading. So that's what they gave me. And I did not have any time to go and look at the book over in the... I understand there's a 3-volume series over in the Katrina room that is by... Bhakti Vikas Swami on Bhaktisiddhanta. And I did not even get a chance to go. I forgot when I had a chance. I didn't go and look. And then I never had a chance after that. So, anything else? Anyone want to contribute anything? So, all glories to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura.
Right.
Joy.